collection series, the Limitless series that I just showed you, which is the first signature series since Michael Jordan and had those 4 different basketballs, they're all still available. Caitlin Clark sold out immediately. Her limited edition All-Star jersey sold out immediately.
The Wilson basketball that Caitlin Clark is wearing is selling off the shelves at a rate that is similar to how frequently she makes three-pointers. And what about the ball that A'ja Wilson owns? Is it still on the shelves, looking gorgeous as ever, or has it vanished too? Let's dissect this competition to see which of these basketballs has fans throwing open their wallets at the fastest possible pace. Caitlin Clark's limited collection is anything but ordinary, even though you might think of it as just another basketball. Recall our statement that this would become a historical event. Be sure you are ready, because Clark has done something truly revolutionary in this scenario. Let's examine it more closely. Not only is Clark's signature Wilson basketball line a first for her, but it's also the first for women's basketball since Michael Jordan's heyday in the 1980s. Can you really believe it? Before another female player got her own signature line, almost 40 years went by. This is the distance that we are considering. That is an amazing sum. What distinguishes these basketballs from others? It takes more than just putting a ball's name on it to achieve this. Every single design in the Limitless collection has a backstory. Moreover, it is Caitlin Clark's story, not just any story. For the sake of argument, let's say that one of the balls has a handwritten note from Clark from his secondary school days. What was the reference point? Look for a basketball scholarship, perform in a WNBA game. Just picture being able to fulfill your dreams. It is possible to argue that the object in one's hands is a fragment of basketball history. Furthermore, that isn't all. These designs honor every quality that makes Clark the player that she is. What is her go-to move when she makes a three-point shot? It is located there. Which of her successes set records? Indubitably. These designs even feature her capacity to electrify and excite the audience during her performance. You may be thinking, okay, these are some really cool designs, but do people actually buy them? As you read this, I'll tell you what, the term buying is not nearly adequate to describe it. Here we are discussing a full-fledged shopping frenzy. 4 different models were initially introduced to the collection when it was first put on sale: the WNBA Ascent basketball, the Repetition basketball, and the EVO NXT 3,951 game basketball are all available for $99.95. The cost of the Repetition basketball is $24.95. And your thoughts? In a matter of hours, every one of them was bought. Years, how thrilled were people to be able to obtain these basketballs while they were still available? But this is where the interesting part really begins. Wilson was not able to meet the demand because it was so high. Once they were made available to the public, almost every model was marked as sold out or out of stock almost instantly. It's like they just vanished out of thin air, and if you were hoping to participate but were disappointed that you weren't able to, don't worry. Wilson plans to top off his supply in August. However, let me assure you that if the first launch is any guide, you will need to act quickly once the restock is available. Now that Caitlin Clark's collection has created such excitement, you may be asking yourself, what about A'ja Wilson? Before we go any further, and she has her own basketball, is that right? You are entirely true, and we will talk about A'ja Wilson's basketball predicament shortly. Let's start by discussing the basketball that A'ja Wilson is most well known for. Wilson Sporting Goods has the lineup in the same manner that Clark's does, but this is the point where things start to look a little different. Wilson's basketball is taking a totally different turn from Clark's collection, which is creating a lot of buzz because of its unique designs and personal touches. Do you know that handwritten notes and career highlights are found inside Clark's balls? On the other hand, A'ja Wilson's basketball lacks some of the same degree of individuality, though it lacks the distinctive design elements that truly make you feel as though you are holding a piece of the player's story in your hands. It does have her name and branding. It's crucial to remember, though, that A'ja Wilson is still regarded as a prominent figure in the basketball community. Her signature style of basketball is on par with that of other elite players such as Sabrina Ionescu and Angel Reese. The fact that it is even offered for sale as a tiny basketball is really neat in my opinion. Okay, but how is it marketing itself? Maybe on your mind, is it gaining the same traction on the shelves as Clark's collection? Things start to take an extremely interesting turn at this point. Remember how we said that in just a few hours all of Clark's basketballs were sold out? Fans were fighting like crazy to get their hands on them. The basketball narrative of A'ja Wilson differs slightly from the one that was previously told. Do not misunderstand me, it is still available and being bought by people, but here we're not seeing the same shopping frenzy that we saw with Clark's collection. No mention of Wilson's basketball selling out in a matter of hours or of customers waiting impatiently for the company to restock has been made. What precisely is happening here then, and why the distinction? This discussion is not about the caliber of the player, rather it is about A'ja Wilson, who is an amazing athlete. However, it seems that the main drivers of Clark's collection's success have been its unique appeal and marketing. Consider this: limited quantities of Clark's collection, a signature series, are available. There's an air of get it before it's gone about it. A. Wilson's basketball, though, is a part of a collection that is bigger than the other items in it. It's still there and solid, but it's not creating the same buzz as it did previously. In what way does this prove that A. Wilson's basketball career was a bust? Not at all, in my opinion. It is still in stock, it remains a member of Wilson's Sporting Goods lineup, and it still stands as an exceptional player. But it's evident from the way the market is doing and how excited customers are about the collection Caitlin Clark has made that it's in a class by itself right now. You might be thinking to yourself, well, so Caitlin Clark's basketball sold out quickly. What exactly is the big deal, though? To be honest, there are other factors at play besides simply selling basketballs. The subject at hand is brand strength. Are you Caitlin Clark? She's no longer just a player, though. She is, to put it simply, a phenomenon. Remember how we said that in just a few hours, all of Clark's basketballs were sold out? It isn't all pure chance. It is a precursor to something far more important. The power that would turn everything she touched into gold is what we mean when we talk about star power. How about companies? They've paid attention. But this is where the interesting part really begins. It's not just that people like Clark. She is changing the rules of the game. You might be surprised to learn that she is the first female athlete since Michael Jordan to have her own collection with Wilson. You're correct. What we are talking about here is breaking down barriers that have existed for decades. What is it about Clark that makes him so unique? Maybe on your mind right now. Why under any circumstances are companies scrambling to work with her? That much is certain. It's not just one thing. Talent, charisma, and timing come together like a perfect storm. First off, she played a fantastic game on the court. Clark is more than just a decent person. She breaks records because she is that good. However, it goes beyond that. Because of the energy and presence she radiates, people are drawn to her. It is impossible to look away from her when she is playing. Furthermore, her influence is not limited to the court. Clark is more than just a basketball player. She is inspiring an entirely new generation. Do you still recall her comments regarding her collection? I hope it inspires the next generation of boys and girls to pick up a ball and play. The message you just described is the kind that appeals to both companies and fans. But don't just believe me when I say this. An excerpt from Amanda Lamb, Wilson's head of global brand, regarding Caitlin Clark is provided below. Caitlin Clark is not just a record-setting athlete, but a cultural icon who has had a profound impact on the game, an important cultural symbol, back when she was her own age. Can you really believe it? You may be asking yourself, okay, so what does all of this mean for Clark? Right now, I can assure you that it makes a big difference in the circumstances. No, this is not just about talking about Wilson. Additionally, Clark's has alliances with businesses like State Farm, Gatorade, and Nike. And considering the circumstances as they stand now, we're just getting started right now. Think about it for a moment. Businesses are looking for athletes with strong product movement skills. Is that what Clark is? She has proven that she is able to accomplish just that. Her basketballs were all sold out in a couple of hours. Years! It is precisely this kind of persuasiveness that makes companies sit up and take notice. But the most thrilling portion of the tale is about to begin. With Clark, we're just getting started. She is just beginning her professional career in addition to her time in college. Can you imagine what will happen when she eventually joins the WNBA? When will she start breaking records in her personal and career lives? We are not merely watching a great player at this point. A brand is emerging before our very eyes. A group that is changing our perception of what is possible in women's basketball. A brand that is providing inspiration to a whole new group of players and followers. The next time you see Caitlin Clark on the court, remember that you are witnessing more than just a basketball player. Right now, we are seeing a phenomenon, an important cultural symbol, a brand that is already sold out and has the potential to alter the game, one basketball at a time.